guys, Kaylee Jane here with Cedar Winds Farm, and it's a lovely, warm, springish evening out here. I've been listening to the spring peepers. Can't hear them now because my guineas are having their pre-bed discussion. But anyway, I wanted to give you guys a chicken update. If you've been following my YouTube channel for a while, you probably, got hay stuck all over me, saw my video that I posted last year when I got my chicks, and I am trying out some new varieties. I got some Americanas and some whiting true greens, and so they're laying now, getting some lovely colored eggs from these gals, and so I thought it would be fun to just kind of give a little update about them and how they're working out. I've been extremely impressed with my whiting true greens. They're very, very similar to like the red stars or like other production red birds. They just kind of have generic red plumage. They're not really fancy or flashy looking. But obviously they lay green eggs, so that's fun. Mine started laying very early. In fact, they started laying even before the red stars did this time around. And the red stars are always have been my first ones to lay. So I've been very impressed with that. They lay these nice light green eggs. And I feel like they've been very consistent once they started. They've really kept going. I have 4 red stars and 3 Americanas. I don't necessarily get an egg a day from every last one of them, and it's very easy to tell because they're colored. The Americanas lay, the light's almost gone now, but I filmed the eggs earlier so you can see. The Americanas lay these nice little blue eggs. But anyways, I do feel like they're laying pretty well. I typically get 3 eggs a day, 3 to 4 from my whitings, and 1 to 2 from my Americanas. Hi, cat. So I wanted to show you guys some of my eggs here. I got them out in this nice natural light, and I've got some blues and some greens. This is a green. This is probably a double yolker. Most of my whitings have been laying pretty consistent, nice, medium-sized eggs, but this is a whopper here. This is a blue. You can see the color difference there. This is from one of my Americanas. Pretty sure this one's got a heavy bloom. I'm pretty sure that's a blue too. And I think this one's also, well, no, that's a green. But I just love the colors here. I just think this mint green and blue, I'll put them all together so you can see the color contrast. I just think the colors there are just so pretty, kind of pastel shades. I like the true greens a little bit more than the Americanas simply because they're a little bit more consistent layers. But I feel like the Americanas have been okay too. So, and they're not, the Americanas are not known to be phenomenal egg-laying birds either. So, you know, I wasn't expecting a whole lot from them. The one problem that I've had with the whitings is they are a slightly smaller bird and they have a lighter frame, which means that they are pretty good flyers. And I actually had problems with both them and my Americanas getting out of my chicken run. And so I kept catching them and clipping their wings, which is where you just clip the flight feathers on one of their wings. And they were still getting out, and I was just getting really, really frustrated with that because they were starting to lay, and they were like laying their eggs in my hoop house on top of my hay bales, and it was just kind of becoming a pain. And my mom finally said, I don't think you've clipped those wings short enough. So on my other birds, I've always just clipped a little bit off the edge of the flight feathers, and that was enough. But on these guys, I actually had to clip their wings all the way back to within about 2 to 3 inches of where the feather, the long flight feather, meets the wing. And you don't want to clip much further back than that because you actually will start getting into like blood vessels, and you can cause your chicken to bleed if you clip much further back. But when I clipped them back that far, they quit flying out. So I was very thankful for that. So since they quit flying out, they really settled down and just become very nice birds. So here's a chicken that hasn't had her wings clipped. And if I was to clip her wings, which I don't need to because she's a nice heavy bird, she's not going to fly out. I would normally clip them about here. and just clip all of these really long flight feathers here. But on the Americanas and the True Greens, since they're a lighter frame size, hold still, girlfriend, I was actually having to clip them back to where you see these smaller feathers right here. So basically I was taking these flight feathers almost completely off and clipping them back down to about right here. And that was what finally stopped them from being able to fly out. Thanks for being my model. You can go now. And usually I just clip them on one side because then that makes their balance lopsided. And then they can't fly as well. And I mean, wing clipping does not hurt your birds at all. And it does help keep them contained, because with the laying hens especially, it's just a pain when they're out flying around all over the place, and you can't find the eggs because you're feeding these birds and it's really annoying when you can't get the eggs from them. So once they are trained to lay in the chicken house, they usually will stay with that and they'll lay in there. But when you have the young pullets that aren't really trained to lay in the chicken house yet, it can be kind of challenging to get them to start laying in those nest boxes, unless you restrict their options a little bit. The other thing that I've been enjoying about the whiting True Greens, and you could probably even see it a little bit when I showed you the eggs, though it's a little bit off today because I got that one double yoker in there, that one extra large one. But the egg size is pretty consistent, and it's a nice medium-sized egg. Some of the breeds, like the Americanas, are laying kind of these skinny, long eggs, and then some of the heritage breeds, like the Barred Rocks, takes them a really long time to get up to a good sized egg. They will eventually get there. I mean, I'm getting some nice big eggs. Those pale colored ones you saw in the basket were mostly from my Barred Rocks. But I'm trying to get my chicken house closed up here. But it just takes like several months for them to get up to a nice large egg. The thing I like about the whitings is they got up to a decent saleable sized egg pretty quickly. Because if you're selling eggs, you don't want to sell someone a whole carton full of itty-bitty pullet eggs. That's not really fair. So that's one other point in the whiting True Greens' favor. So on the whole, I've been quite happy. I actually have more chicks coming in this week, so I'll probably be posting some more about chickens. I'm quite excited about some chicks that I'm getting. I'm getting a variety that I've never raised before, but I've been wanting to try for a while. And they finally came available. Hi, Nellie. And so I'll be very thrilled to try those out, and I'll be posting more about those later. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.